Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh Ji.
So, guys, we have Pushpinder Singh Ji with us today. He is a Gurmat speaker and spiritual speaker, also a counselor. So, yeah, how are you feeling today?
I'm thankful, always thankful. And as well as a mindfulness guide. I think you forgot that.
Yeah, you mindfulness
Yeah,
guide. What do you mean by
yeah.
mindfulness guide there? So you're calling yourself
That will be
guide?
a bit
Like that you have
long.
all the information?
No, it's not
Uh,
like, listen, the thing is, I have to give it a certain terminology, right?
mhm,
So it is a helpless term. I have to define myself, right?
mhm,
I need to use some kind of a word to define myself.
mhm,
So hence, this is the easiest one. It's not like I have reached a destination that I could guide somebody to the destination. I'm still on the path. In fact, right now, also, if I'm speaking, I'm not speaking to guide you or guide the viewer. I'm doing it for myself. I need to reach the destination, and this is the path. My path goes through you.
mhm,
That is why I have to speak. It
mhm.
leads me towards the destination. Because you are not you, right? You are Paramatma, right? So I
Mhm.
need to reach you. So it's through Gyan. If you want, I could dive into the technicality of that. If you want to.
We can go. Of course, we can discuss that, but we'd go
Yeah, sure.
later.
Sure,
Okay.
sure. No
Yeah.
problem. No problem.
So, what is mindfulness?
Mindfulness is a state of mind, and you could say that when the mind is completely available to you
Hmm,
to be utilized,
hmm,
that's what mindfulness is. And majority of the human beings, for them, mind is not available.
hmm,
They are in the present, and the mind is either in the past or either in the future.
hmm,
That means they are not yet in that state. The mind, when it is fully available,
hmm.
that's what mindfulness is.
Okay.
Definitions could differ. This is
Mhm,
just one definition. There are more definitions as
mhm,
well. The
mhm,
more you dive in, the more definitions you will attain, because you
mhm.
will attain more and more deeper states of mind.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it's like being super conscious, like
you
having
can
the
call it
access
whatever you
to.
want to call it.
Okay. 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 So I'm gonna ask
Again, we are
you.
we are using a terminology, right? We are giving it a terminology, so you can use any word.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll ask you very basic questions about spirituality.
Mhm.
Maybe questions like
Mhm.
questions that an alien would ask if he comes to Earth. Like an alien landed on the Earth
Yes.
and he sees you. He sees Pushpinder Singh Ji doing part, worshipping
Mhm.
God. And so I would come to you and I would ask you like, whom are you worshipping to? So what would you answer?
I'm not worshipping God.
Hmm.
For me to worship God, first I need to know where He is.
Hmm.
First, I need to know what He is.
Hmm.
Yes, He is right in front. He is omnipresent. But for me to reach this conclusion, first I need to realize. So I'm not worshipping Him, I'm
Hmm.
searching for Him. And how am I searching for Him? I'm searching Him through searching me.
Okay.
Guru Sahib says this, Jan Nanak bin Apa Chine mitena bharam ki kai. I
Hmm.
am seeking myself.
Mm-hmm.
She's the destination, just like I just a minute ago I just said that, right? You are not you, you are him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hence, he's the destination, and that destination leads through the path which is you. Exactly in the same way,
You or I.
for me, exactly. It's in spiritual world,
Mm-hmm.
you and I. You are also I am also you. The fact is that,
Mm-hmm.
but that is also a stage of realization. So I am
Mm-hmm.
not worshipping God, I'm finding him. I'm seeking him through seeking myself. When I seek myself, I understand myself. When I understand myself, I understand him. Just it's like if I understand the day, I automatically understand the night. If I understand unity, I automatically understand separation. I do not need to understand separation separately
Mm-hmm.
if I have already understood unity. So
Mm-hmm.
if I've already understood me, I've already understood him. That's what in Gurbani it is said, right? Hum नीच तुम ऊजल करते हम निर्गुण तू दाता हम मूर्ख तुम चतुर सयाने. How did I come to know that he's chatur and siyana? When I came to know when that I am Murak.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came to know myself, I came to know him. That's how it is.
Okay, so like whenever we do these spirituality talks, um,
Hmm.
it becomes really sometimes hard to pick up the proper terminologies, the precise ones.
Yeah.
So like the alien comes to you and he says you're doing something, and you say I'm worshiping him. You're using the word him over and over
Hmm,
again. So
hmm,
what's
hmm,
and he asks you again,
hmm,
what's him? Who's him?
hmm. Again, this is a helpless terminology because human beings are dependent on words for the sake of communication.
Mm-hmm.
For the time being, we are actually not talking about God.
Mm.
He cannot be spoken about. Right now,
Yeah.
we are speaking about ourselves only. We are speaking about ourselves. We are not speaking about God. Though,
Mm-hmm.
just like I said 2 minutes ago, when we speak about unity, we are indirectly speaking about separation only. Same way, when we are speaking about ourselves, we are speaking about Him. Though He is not a Him. Him is a term which is used for a male. He is not a male.
Mm.
If I use the term her or she,
It's
this
not that
term
either.
is used for a female.
Mm-hmm.
She is not a female either. Now, again, if you see, again and again, I would be enforced to use a term. When I said that she is not a she, first time when I mentioned the term she, I was helpless in that situation. What to do? I had to use something.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it is not an either. He is not a he, she is not a she. It is not it either because it's a term which is used for a thing. He's not a thing either. See, again, the damn term him came into the picture. Again, it came in between. But the thing is, how do you describe it? You have to use something, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would say that the perfect term, perfect word to describe him is undescribable. Undescribable is the perfect term to describe him, which is absolute silence. जो चाक गूंगा मुस्का रहे, right?
I think the more
There is
perfect
no
term is
words.
the more perfect way is staying silent. The
Silence.
silence.
The thing is, that is he is or that is absolute silence. And if
Mm.
you observe, words disrupt silence. It does not describe silence. It is only silence which describes silence. That
Mm.
is absolute silence. In fact, silence is not a perfect terminology for that silence as well. We are
Exactly.
helpless. That's the
Yeah. It's
thing.
just Nothing.
Dunga
Mm,
muskare, just keep on smiling and become completely dumb. That is the final stage because she's akal, right? What
mm,
does the term akal mean? Akal means where there is no time. If
mm,
you know this, according to science as well, that time, space, and memory coexist. Hence, if there is no time, then there is no memory as well. Right now, I'm using words to describe him.
mm,
Words are nothing but memory, right?
mhm,
So I am trying to describe the memoryless using memory.
mhm,
That means I'm not describing him. I'm describing something else. The more I keep on describing him, the more I'm making something else out of him. That's what I'm doing.
mhm,
But what
mhm.
to do? We are dependent on words for this communication. No other way out, right?
And if we remain silent, that won't be helpful for people either. If we want to preach the message of the God, if we stay silent,
Yeah.
people are going to be whatever they're doing. That's not helpful either. So it's like trying to do something, like something is better than nothing. That's why we preach. That's why we talk about God, isn't it?
Um, Let me tell you something. A sadhu never preaches. I had told you this before also.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm speaking, I'm doing it for myself. I'm not doing it for you. Okay, let
Mm-hmm.
me just elaborate it just a bit. The journey of words starts from the mind, right? First, I think, I remember, and I speak. That means the journey of words are starting from the mind, my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And where is it ending? In your mind. You're taking in my words through the ears and it is getting stored within your mind, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the mind is not mind. Mantu Jyot Sarup hai apna Mool Pashan. So what is happening right now in this present situation as well? Jyot Sarup is utilizing words to merge and become one with Jyot Sarup. So I am reaching my destination through Gyan, through words. That's how it is happening. Your mind and my mind are becoming one through words. Because my words are entering you through your ears and becoming one with your mind. And the journey of that word started with my mind. Hence, my mind is becoming one with your mind. I'm not preaching. I'm not preaching.
So you're doing it for yourself.
In Hinduism, okay, it's like this process acts as a seed for me.
Mm.
But you are the one who is having the fruit. I am benefiting, but you are also benefiting, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am sowing the seed for me, but you are also having the fruit.
Mm.
And in this process, compassion is a natural outcome as well. That is also an element. Primarily, I'm doing it for me. For an example, if somebody says that I'm a preacher and I'm preaching for the sake of educating somebody else or to show him the path, I'm sorry to say that is ego. Have you reached a destination that you are capable enough to show somebody else the path?
Mm.
No, I have not reached a destination, not at all. So it's like that. I'm doing it for myself primarily. You are also benefiting out of it. So I'm not preaching. I'm not preaching at all. It's like, as said, I was saying this a moment ago. In Hinduism, this is known as Gyan Yoga. In Guru Sikhi, Karma Yoga or Dharma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Nad Yoga, Raj Yoga, these all are not separate over here. It is one. That is why it is none. It is nothing. As soon as everything becomes one, it becomes none. It becomes nothing. It's
Mm.
like If all the colors unite together, it becomes colorless.
Hmm.
That's what Paramatma is, colorless.
It
So you
becomes
become
white, not
everything.
colorless.
Yeah.
Is white
White
colorless?
is
Like,
also
what is a
colorless,
color?
right? White is colorless. White and black both are considered to be colorless. They are not colors.
White is not a
This
color?
is a color. No.
White is a color. Black is also a color.
What happens with black and white is that black accepts everything and white rejects everything. That is why it is not considered to be a color. Over here, for an example, this is blue color, right?
Hmm.
The only color which is being rejected over here is blue. That is why it is displaying blue.
Hmm.
Otherwise, this is all the colors except blue. But just because blue is rejected, that is why blue is being reflected. That's how it is.
Yeah, it's the spectrum. It's what it's reflecting. Get that.
Exactly. Exactly.
You said that you're doing it for yourself, through the words. What are you
Yeah.
doing here? It's like you're giving me the words. I'm listening to them. They're going into my mind, and by that process,
Mm.
both of our minds are connected,
Uniting. Yeah.
uniting.
Yeah.
What would
Yeah.
happen there? What's the use of it?
And that's what I'm saying. This is a certain stage of realization, you can say,
Hmm.
that after the vessel has been sufficiently filled up, it automatically starts to overflow.
Hmm.
So it's like, I wouldn't say that I am overflowing. I would say that Pushpinder Singh is somewhere overflowing. And when it starts to overflow, that means automatically it would pour into something, right? Pour into an empty vessel, or up to a certain extent into a filled up vessel. So that's what is going on. And it's like, if you observe sufficiently, this is a much more deeper state of realization that you are not the one who is speaking, you are not the one who is viewing, you are not the one who is listening. It is a gameplay going on. And Guru Sahib also addresses this. He says, Aakhan jor, chupehna jor.
Hmm.
I do not have any kind of power while the speech is going on. Aakhan jor. I do not have the zor in it. Chupehna jor. If I am becoming silent, that means it's not me who is becoming silent. I do not have any power on becoming silent, neither do I have any kind of power on my speech. Now, again, the term my comes into the picture. The thing is that ego involves itself again and again. Ego again and again identifies itself with each and every action the body commits. This is what Guru Sahib also talks about. He says, Mati ko putra, kaise nachata? It is just dancing, and the ego identifies itself with this dance, and that is why this illusion get created that we are the one who is speaking,
Hmm.
or should I say, I am the one who is speaking, I am the one who is viewing, I am the one who is listening. It is an illusion created by ego. It is just a gameplay going on.
But it's him who's doing everything. Him who's
Yeah,
speaking. Him
who is
who remains
listening.
silent.
Yeah,
So we have
absolutely,
no
it's
jor,
him.
no free
No,
will
no,
over anything.
absolutely.
You know what I think?
Free will, it's like,
Uh,
free will is there. I wouldn't say that free will is totally irrelevant. On a minimum basis, it is there. Let's say, if you talk about the conscious part of the mind, we use conscious part of the mind in order to commit deliberate actions. For an example, when you speak right now, a few moments ago, right now, your head also shook. Somewhere you did not shake it. It happened deliberately. My hands right now are moving. It wasn't deliberate, but now it is deliberate, right? I'm doing it deliberately. Now, this is
hmm,
controlled by the conscious part of the mind. This is free will. Conscious part of the mind is dominated by subconscious and unconscious. So there free will. At the same time, this free will is being dominated by Parma. Very deep gameplay of ego. Very, very deep gameplay of ego. In fact, Paramatma is ego himself.
So our conscious is also
Very deep.
Paramatma.
Now again the
So
term
that
R
means
comes into
ego.
the picture,
So
right?
doesn't that mean ego is something? You and I are something. It's not like we're nothing. We say like we're not here. I'm not here. You're not there. It's just him who's doing everything. But it does mean that we are also there. We're also in the picture.
The thing is, we live in the world of duality,
Uh,
right? And there are two sides of the same coin. That's what duality is all about. When somebody says that it is only him, that is also right. If somebody says that it is me and him, that is also
so you can believe whatever you
right.
want.
No, no, it's not like that. Both are absolutely right. Let me tell you something. Does they exist? Is it the truth? Within the realm of duality, they exist, right? That is
Hmm.
the truth. But night also exists. That is also the truth. Both are contradicting each other, and then both are the truth, right? And you do not need to believe the truth. The truth is the truth. If you are believing in something, that means you do not know the truth yet. That is why you are believing in it.
Mm-hmm.
When you come to know something, that's what the truth is. Knowledge is truth. Belief has not yet become the truth. That is why you still believe in it because you didn't know about it. So that is also the truth. This is also the truth. For an example, Guru Sahib says this very beautifully. He says that a sadhu or a gursikh who is constantly in a remembrance of Paramatma, he will accept each and every perspective, each and every perspective. Right now, I'm forgetting the words, but he says this, he addresses this. It is just a matter of accepting.
See, both are right. I got you. I got you. You're saying both are right, but before we know something, we have to believe in it. I think
Yeah, of course.
believing comes
Of
before
course.
knowing, and believing
Yes, of course.
and knowledge both play some sort of part. But
Absolutely.
I want to know the
Absolutely.
truth. It's not like I want to accept everything. Like that's also right. That's also right. But I want to know the truth. What's right and what's delusional? What's illusion? That's what I want to know. How can you say like illusion is also
Baba,
right? Illusion
within
is also true.
okay, fine. Let me tell you something.
Hmm.
The highest stage of realization is that everything is an illusion. Right. Guru Sahib also talks about it.
Hmm.
Jagjeevan aisa, supne jaisa.
Supra
It's
jaisa.
just like a dream. Right.
Hmm.
Supni jiyo sansar. And one more verse he talks about this. Right. So now when we talk about day and night, unity and separation, as well as truth and false or lies, right? If we just speak about lies, then lies is the primary truth. Lies is the primary truth. Truth is the secondary truth. How is that? To know the day, first you need to know the night. To know separation, you need to know unity. To know the truth, first you need to know lies. So what is primary truth? Primary truth is lies, right? And when we reach this stage that everything is an illusion, the duality is an illusion, then truth is also lies. Because truth is one side of duality. So this is how the gameplay is. It's all different stages of realization.
So, doesn't that mean
Frankly
there's
speaking, let me
okay,
tell you
okay.
something. Frankly speaking, few moments ago we addressed that absolute truth cannot be spoken about right now. What we are speaking about is the incomplete truth.
Hmm.
And that's all we can speak about. Incomplete truth. Why does Guru Sahib says akathna kathna jai? He says this that I'm giving up. For an example, kathna kathina ave tot. Kat kat kati koti kot kot. What does he say over here? He says that I kept on speaking and speaking and speaking. I thought that I'll find the toad. I'll find the resolution. He says,
Hmm.
yes, I found out the resolution. What did I find out? I have found out that I cannot resolve.
So why did we have to
This is
try
the
then?
only resolution which I resolved.
Why did he try at the first place then?
Because few moments ago we were discussing, right? Human beings are dependent on words
Hmm.
to have a conversation with each other, just like he had a conversation with pandits.
Hmm.
Had a conversation with mullahs. For him to have a conversation, he was supposed to use words. For an example, in Anand Sahib it says that Kehe Nanak suno ho santo, kate ho akat kahani.
Hmm.
He says that I am defining. What am I defining? I'm defining the story of the undefinable. And for an example, few days ago, I was saying this that knowledge is not the destination, it is the path.
Hmm.
Becoming knowledgeable is not the destination. Becoming unknowledgeable is the destination.
Hmm.
Because you cannot know him, you can never know him. He is not even meant to be known. He's not meant to be known. If somebody thinks that he has come to know him, that is the first indication that he does not know anything. That is the first indication. So that's what
Hmm.
Guru Sahib says, that I kept on saying and saying and saying and saying, and in the end, what did I say? That he is not sayable. I kept on describing, and in the end, what did I describe? That he is not describable. Guru Gobind Singh Ji also talks about this. He talks about this in Dasam Granth Sahib Ji. कहा नाम ताको कहा के कहावे कहा मैं बखानो कहे मो ना आवे कहना नहीं आ रहा मन. He talks about this. When did he talk about it? He kept on talking and talking, and in the end, he told, I cannot talk about it. He gave it up.
I have a question here.
Sure.
So Guru Nanak Dev Ji tried talking about him, speaking about him. He spoke a lot, and at the end, he found
Yeah.
that there's nothing that can be spoken about him, right?
Spoken about.
Guru Nanak Dev Ji.
Yeah.
Nanak Dev Ji tried. All the gurus tried. Guru Gobind Singh Ji himself wrote that. So if we observe them, we get to know that you can talk as much as you want, but it's not spokeable.
No.
Why are
Yeah.
we trying then? Like, we have learned that there's
Yeah.
nothing to talk about. Why are we even trying? Why are people out there preaching God when it's of no use?
I don't know whether you must have heard about this aspect for the first time, where I said that I'm doing it for myself. I don't know whether it was a new aspect for you or you had heard it previously.
Hmm. Hmm.
I had told you this very clearly, that God is an unknown territory and he will always remain an unknown territory, right? If he cannot be known, that means he cannot be understood. If he cannot be understood, that means it is quite clear he cannot be spoken about. I have said this very clearly. But this is what we need to know, that he cannot be known. Through knowledge only we attain this knowledge, that he is not within the realm of knowledge. Through knowledge only that happens. It's like you're going through a tunnel. It's
Hmm.
this world, or this process of reincarnations, is like a mountain, and there is no other way out. You need to go only through the tunnel. So right now we are going through the tunnel, but when we are going through the tunnel, aren't we going through the mountain? We are going through the mountain, right?
Hmm.
Why are we going through the mountain? So that we can transcend the tunnel, so that we can transcend the mountain. But to transcend, we need to go through it only, now. To become unknowledgeable, we need to go through knowledge. For an example, few days ago I was saying this, that detachment is through attachment. If you are not attached in the first place, then
Hmm.
what would you get detached from? You need to go through attachment in order to detach. Need to gain knowledge in order to become unknowledgeable. It's through it.
Mhm. Interesting. I read Osho's book where he says that you can only know what peace is only if you know anger. You can only know what love is only if you know what's lust. It's like that.
Well, love and more are opposing.
Attachment and love.
It, yeah, attachment and love.
Hmm.
It's the exact same sweet emotion. It's just that when love is aligned externally, the same love is attachment. And when attachment is aligned internally with Paramatma, the same attachment is love.
Hmm.
It's a conversion. The whole Maya converts, it transforms. And this is what results in transformation of me to him or me to you. That's how it is. Transformation of Man to Jot Sarup. It's all a process of transformation. It's like Krodh converts into Rose or Raudra Sarup.
Hmm.
Ahankar converts into Anak. Lob converts into Trishna. Moh converts into Prem. That's how it is. Or Kamavasana converts into Harki Vasana. That's how it is. Your Vasana gets detached from Kam and Vasana aligns with Paramatma. This is also mentioned in Anand Sahib. Har Vasana Samani Kehe Nanak Chal Bhagta Jugo Jug Nirali. He says that.
Questions are arising at every sentence you utter, and I, I'm just afraid. Like, how am I gonna remember all of that? I have so many questions here,
Yeah, sure, go
but
ahead.
I also want to keep things in
I'll
order,
try to
and
answer as much as possible. Yeah.
I want to keep the topics in the order. So I'm not sure if it's the right time to ask those questions. So I've written them down. We will go to them later on.
Mm.
So what I was gonna ask. So you said we need knowledge to become unknowledgeable. So let me get this straight. So the people who are into spirituality, they spend their entire life reading and uh, listening, meditating, and everything, the whole life, only to get to know that there's nothing they were looking for. There's nothing out there.
Yeah.
My God, it's weird.
The thing is that right now, few moments ago, I had said this that I need to reach the destination. Now I'll contradict myself. We are already at the destination. We don't need to go anywhere. The destination is right over here. Guru Sahib says this. He says,
It's right here.
Ki zahar zahur hai ki hazir hazur hai. He talks about this. He also talks about this in Zafarnama. He says he's right over here. Though he is invisible, still he is visible through the naked eye. Now that is very strange for a person who is not yet realized. All we need to know that we are not there. I am not there. As soon as the element of I gets destroyed, it's only him who is left. He's always over there. That means we do not need to reach the destination. We just need to realize that we are already on the destination. It's just that I'm not there. That is why it is him only who is there. But that is a stage of realization that has nothing to do with information. If you take in from outside, that is just mere information. For an example, right now I'm giving you information, I'm not giving you knowledge. When it comes out in flow, that's a realization, that's first hand experience. That's what knowledge is. What goes in from outside, that is information. What comes out from inside, that is
That's
knowledge.
knowledge. Okay. Would it be right? Because whatever you said, I mean, I have reached the conclusion that there's no God. There's nothing we're chasing.
And that is also a stage of realization. Let me tell you this.
That's the final, actually. That unknowledgeable, the state of being unknowledgeable, when you know that there's
Now, when
nothing
you
there.
talk about him, it
Hmm.
is said that he is Akal,
Hmm.
right? Now, this is a terminology. And there is an opposite terminology of Akal as well, which is Kal,
Hmm.
right? That means within
Time.
duality,
Hmm.
right? Yeah, time. So, as said that there is day, there is night, there is unity, there is separation, there is him, and there is me.
Hmm.
Now, if there is no day, then night will not exist.
Hmm.
You don't have anything to identify separately, right? If there is no unity, then separation will not exist as well. Same way, if he does not exist, then I also does not exist.
Hmm.
And if I do not exist, then he also does not exist because he exists for me. If I do not exist for me, then he will not exist for me. He is existing for me. If
Wait,
my
wait.
existence is done,
It,
listen, if my existence is done, then his existence is also done. That's the gameplay.
you know what's the worst part when we talk about these things? We keep on contradicting ourselves over and over again. Because just a second. Earlier you said
Yeah,
that when
sure.
there's no I am, then all that there is him. It's
Exactly,
God. Now you're
exactly.
saying if there's me, then there's him. If there's no me, then there's no him.
Arey Baba. Okay, fine. Let me take it in such a way.
Yeah.
Do you have a son?
Sorry?
Do you have a son or a daughter? Do you have a son or a daughter?
Nothing.
Why?
Because, yeah, because I don't have them. I'm not married yet.
Oh, okay. Do
Hmm.
you have a grandson or a granddaughter?
No.
Why?
No, because.
It's simple. If your son does not exist, how could your grandson exist?
Hmm.
Got the point. For God to exist, you need to exist first. For an example, who is remembering God? I.
Hmm.
Who is being remembered? God.
Hmm.
If God wasn't there, then I wouldn't have the opportunity to remember him. Same way, if I wasn't there, if the Bhagat isn't there, then who would be there to remember him? You need to understand this is a world of duality. We are living in a world of contradiction.
Hmm.
If you are able to identify a certain something, just if you are able to identify something else, if something else did not exist, then this also wouldn't exist. That is the world. That is the realm of duality. I That is why I said you right. She is within duality in the form of duality. As soon as the I is done, your existence is done. If your existence is done, then his existence is also done. Because you cannot identify two entities separately, right? It is due to identification. For an example, you are there, that is why I am there, and that is why we can identify each other separately. But if I wasn't there, then who would you be talking to? Okay, this is not a very deep realm, but that is a very deep realm. It's like it's a certain stage of realization. It is a certain stage of realization that, for an example, तू करता तू हुआ मुझ में रहा न हूं जब आपा पर का मिट गया जत देखा तत तू. In this stage, what happens? The drop becomes one with the ocean. After that, you can no longer identify the drop separately from the ocean. It is just the ocean. When there's the ocean, who is going to the ocean? There is no one to identify, right? somebody needs to identify the ocean. That means somebody needs to be there. If that somebody is gone, then that identification is also gone. If identification is gone, then that existence itself is gone. Contradiction exists due to contradiction. That's how it is. I know it's quite deep and a bit confusing as well, but this is a stage of realization.
In one way, I've understood a lot of things, and the other way I've forgotten everything that I knew. Because I have a question. There was one question that I needed you to. I wanted to ask to you that what is God, and the conclusion that I'm about to reach here is like that God is nothing. Just knowing,
that's right. That's
just
what Guru Sahib also takes.
knowing that there's no God, knowing that there's nothing is the game.
But you need to know everything first in order to reach the nothing, right? It is everything which becomes one and becomes nothing. For an example, Paramatma is colorless. You're talking about contradiction. Guru Gobind Singh Ji contradicts his own self in each and every verse of Jap Sahib. For an example, he says, Namo Sarabadrisam. It's only you who is seen everywhere. In contradiction, he says, Adrisya hai, akrisya hai. You are invisible. He says you are visible everywhere. Again, he contradicts himself in the same Vani that you are invisible. He says, Namo Sarvarange. You are the color of the whole world. At the same time, he says, Aranga hai, abhanga hai. You are colorless. So he's contradicting himself in the same Bani. Because we are living in the world of duality, and duality within itself is contradiction. Got the point? And the thing is that if you, just like he said that he's colorless, he's shapeless, he's formless. That is why he's invisible. Now, to become the colorless, you need to become all the colors. That's when you become colorless. For an example, water has the capacity to submerge itself into yellow color and become yellow color. It has the capacity to submerge itself into red color and become red color. Why is it capable enough to do that? Because it is colorless. Same way, Paramatma is colorless. That is why he is capable to reside within all the colors. As soon as you become all the colors, you become colorless. As soon as you become all the shape, you become shapeless. That means as soon as you become everything, you become nothing. To become nothing, you need to become everything. You need to go through everything. As said, if you need to become unknowledgeable, you personally need to become knowledgeable for that.
Can you give any other analogy to explain this? Any example of nature that's like doing everything to get nothing?
Okay, fine. One more example is that few moments ago I had said this, that I am doing this for me, and in the process I am becoming you. Let's say if there were millions of viewers right now, then through the speech I would be becoming millions of viewers through the speech, because they would be listening to my speech, and my mind and their mind would submerge into each other through words. So what was I becoming? I was becoming everything. As soon as I had become sufficiently everything, I would become nothing. This is one more example for it. And one more example for it was that if just because water is colorless, that is why it can submerge into any color and become that color. As soon as all the colors unite, again it comes back to colorless. For an example, Guru Sahib also talks about it. He says, Jiste upajaya nanaka soi fir hoye. Color is a creation of colorless. Hence, that is the destination for all the colors, to become colorless. Same way, shapes are a creation of shapeless. That is the destination of all the shapes. to become shapeless. For an example, all the shapes which we see around is creation, right? If there is something which has been created, that means destruction is bound to happen. If destruction happens, that means shapes will again submerge and become one with shapeless. That's what the black hole is, right?
Hmm.
Science is also talking about it. That's
Hmm.
what the black hole is. If everything enters into the black hole, everything becomes nothing. Simple.
Okay. I have um I have a out of the context question just to like just I'm asking. So like we learned about that disc experiment in school where there are all seven
What
colors on
escape?
the disc where there are all seven colors on the disc and we rotate it. The color
Okay,
that
okay.
appears out to be is white. But when we
Hmm.
put all the colors in water, what color would it be? It's gonna be black, right?
I have never observed it. I have never observed. I cannot comment on something which I have never observed. It is a
Hmm.
matter of observance, so I will not comment on it.
But as you said in the beginning that white and black
Yeah,
both are not the colors. Just like
yeah.
that. So when we put all the colors in the water, it becomes black. Hence it becomes colorless.
You can say that because black and white both are colorless. Frankly speaking, I could give you first-hand experience that black and white, black accepts everything and white rejects everything. I
Hmm.
could give you first-hand experience of that. But if I claim that I know everything about it, I would be lying. No, I need to observe more further. Yes, it is assured for me that black absorbs and white rejects, and everything in between are colors.
Hmm.
Thus, black and white are colorless. This is an assurity for me. But of course, no matter how much knowledge you gather, knowledge is unlimited. No matter how much you gather, it wouldn't be sufficient.
I'm gonna have to, do do a lot of research and a lot of meditation to truly get to know what you're talking about. Okay, so
Everybody needs to do
we
that.
can't go more deeper than this because it's it might go somewhere else. So let's just take a one step back. I'm about to ask you. I'm about to ask you why do we have to do all this? Why can't I just be the way I am? Just live in this Maya and illusionistic world and live happily, do everything,
It,
knowing nothing.
it's a simple example. I would just give you an option. Do you want to keep on suffering, right? Nobody in today's state who is alive does not suffer. Everybody suffers, right?
Hmm.
That's what Guru Nanak Dev Ji also says, Nanak Dukhiya Sab Sansar,
Hmm.
right? Simple question in the form of answer is that don't you want your sufferings to end? Do you want to be in this cycle of suffering? Do you want to be in in the cycle? If you want, then it is completely your wish.
It's fine then.
Of
Because
course.
what I think is, I don't think that I'm suffering. I think I'm living a life that is all about ups and downs. Sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I'm sad. Suffering is also a part of life, and enjoying is also a part of life. Um, I
Of
want
course
to
it is.
accept all those experiences, all those dualities, day and night.
Hmm.
And there's nothing that I want to do.
But
I would just want to live in this moment and enjoy it. I want to enjoy the pain. I want to
okay,
enjoy being happy.
that's of course that's your choice and your free
Hmm.
will. But majority of the people would choose happiness over sadness,
Hmm.
bliss over sufferings, right?
Hmm.
Majority of the people in today's date, the situation is such that human beings are suffering in such a way that they want to end their suffering by ending their life. That's how fed up they are
Hmm.
of their life. That is the fact.
Hmm.
Look at the suicide rates. That means almost every human being would select that they do not want to suffer. Of course, you may be a separate individual, but majority of the people would select happiness over sadness, bliss over suffering. Nobody would want to be in pain. Everybody would want to stay in peace, right?
Hmm.
After that, it's completely an individualistic choice.
Hmm.
That's his wish and will.
Okay, got it. Okay, the next question is, why is there suffering? Why do bad things happen?
Now again, you're gonna say that I'm contradicting myself because I will. We reside within the realm of contradiction. It's just that we are not ready to accept everything. When accepting everything moves you forward towards nothing. If you accept everything, that's how your knowledge grows. It's just that you need to accept it as a possibility, not as a
But
reality, but as a possibility. Let me
there,
complete the answer. You
okay.
asked me a certain question, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what was the question, by the way?
Why do we suffer? Why is there
Exactly.
suffering?
Yeah, yeah. Now, the thing is that if you see the sun, right, it is providing everybody with its light, it is
Hmm.
providing everybody with life,
Hmm.
right? But in the process of providing everything with its light, it is burning itself, right? Same way, ask yourself, is wisdom or knowledge a possibility without suffering? And if it is not, then how would you reach the state of becoming unknowledgeable?
Hmm.
In order to become unknowledgeable, you need to gain knowledge. In order to gain knowledge, you need to suffer. It's like you're burning yourself, you are setting your mind on fire so that later on that mind can become the light and unite with the supreme light. So that's what sufferings are doing. And again, as I said, I will contradict my own self. We are identifying it to be suffering, though it is not suffering. It's actually a medicine for our sickness. That's what Guru Sahib also says.
Hmm.
Dukh daru sukh rog baya ja sukh tam na hui. Right?
Okay.
Suffering is a medicine. That's what he talks about.
Is it like a
It's
dose
a
of
process.
knowledge? Makes us more
Of
knowledgeable?
course it is.
Hmm.
Of course, each and every suffering acts like a drop of wisdom which will fill up your empty vessel.
What about the sufferings that are severe? For example, rapes, murders?
The
What
thing
would,
is
like,
that
there's nothing.
this is a
No.
very no no this is a very sensitive question. First point.
Mm-hmm.
Now we are talking about extreme crimes, but what Guru Sahib talks about is that he says that Dadda dos na kahu dije. He says, do not blame somebody else. Your own karmas are blameable.
Hmm.
Whatever we had given, that's what we are receiving. That's all I can say. It's just that we do not remember what we had done in our previous lives. That is why these questions arise from within our mind that why is it happening? Why is this happening with us? But it is connected with previous lives. This is known as Sanchita Karma, I think, container of karma.
Does our soul remember everything, whatever we've done?
Absolutely. That's what the unconscious part of the mind is. That's what spiritual awakening of mind is. All the memories of our past reincarnations reside within the unconscious part of the mind. And this is what spiritual awakening of mind is. That's what Guru Sahib talks about. He says, Sovat kaha moh nindra mein kabhung suchet hoye jago.
Hmm.
You are sleeping in a deep sleep of more. When will you awaken up?
Hmm.
He also talks about the process of awakening. He says that through jap, the mind awakens up. He says that.
So there's one more question here. So let's you're saying there's one mind of ours that's subconscious, that our soul's mind that knows everything. Like soul remembers all
Soul
the
and
past
mind
life
is
deeds
one
and
and the same
everything.
thing.
Soul
It's
soul and
one and
mind
the
is
same thing. Soul
it's
and the mind, one and the same thing.
okay. We got a soul here, and we have the mind, the delusional mind that we have currently, the delusional mind that I have at the moment, because I don't remember anything from my past life. And this delusional mind knows nothing what he has done, what this soul has done in the past lives. Can't we label this mind as an innocent mind that knows nothing? It's like a baby.
Every time we are born as a human being, every time this memories, all the memories of the past reincarnations are refreshed. First of all, you need to understand the difference in between the mind and the soul. As Guru Sahib says, Mantu Jot Sarup hai apna mool
But
pashan,
you
right?
just said they're
He says
one.
the mind, yeah, 1 minute, 1 minute. Let me come to the conclusion, right? He says that mind, you have forgotten your actual nature. You are not the mind. You are Jot Sarup yourself. You are Paramatma. You are Atma yourself. The thing is that soul has converted itself into man. It's just like a diamond. This diamond has covered itself with lots of filth, lots of memories, right? And it is hiding within that filth, hiding within those memories. So the process of meditation or spirituality is to cleanse those memories, cleanse the filth. As soon as you cleanse the filth, the mind comes back to its original form, which is the diamond, which is the Jot Sarup. So that is the difference in between the mind and Atma. When Atma becomes the cultivation of memories, this itself is the mind. When soul becomes a cultivation of memories, this itself is the mind. And when mind gets rid of all of the memories, it again comes back to its original formless form, which is the soul. For an example, right now,
Just a second.
what? Yeah. So if you observe, what did I say at that time? Moh converts into prem, lobh converts into trishna. Same way, man converts into Jot Sarup. Why? Because Jot Sarup had converted into man. So they will all return back to their original form. He had converted himself into me. Hence, I will convert back into him. It's all a gameplay of conversion.
In one word, the question that I originally asked, if the delusional mind that we have currently, is it okay to call it innocent? Yes or no?
Normally, when a child is born, naturally, yeah, listen, the thing is, one word is not possible. I'll just give a description in brief. When a child is born, he is born completely innocent, right? So, in a certain perspective, you can say that. Otherwise, uh, no mind is completely innocent. None of the mind is completely innocent. Whosoever is born seems like they are born innocent, but frankly speaking, they have been born due to certain kind of karmas which they had committed in the previous reincarnation. That is why everybody is born. In fact, I had also committed a certain kind of karma. You had also committed a certain kind of karma. That is why we had an opportunity to speak to each other right now. Right? Simple.
But that mind is new. When there's a newborn baby, he has a new mind. He knows nothing about the past lives. It's like a fresh beginning, a fresh start.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
flashbacks of previous memories, nothing. A kind of a clean mind. The delusional mind in itself is a clean mind. It's a new start. Can we say that?
Up to a certain extent, but you forgot that I had told you that the subconscious and unconscious in this particular situation, unconscious mind is dominant on the fresh part of the mind. When the memories are refreshed, and this refreshment of memories itself is known as the conscious part of the mind. In this situation, there is no subconscious.
Hmm.
There is only unconscious and there is only conscious.
Hmm.
Right? So just because there is a certain part of the mind which has been refreshed and it is now empty, that is why you can say that it is innocent. But you have to agree to this that unconscious mind is still dominant on the conscious mind. That is why past karmas are still dominant on in the present carnation as well.
But I'm
That is why it
innocent.
is dominant.
I'm innocent. I'm unable to feel or realize that dominant mind of mine, the subconscious mind of
Of
mine.
course,
I know nothing.
of
I'm
course,
innocent for me.
of course. Of course. But the fact is, you are not completely innocent. For
No,
the
I'm not.
timing,
Okay.
just because, no, 1 minute,
Hmm.
just because you lost all your memories, that is why you're thinking that you are innocent. But
Hmm.
let's say, if you had all those intact memories stored within the mind, then would you consider that you're innocent? No, right? Just because you lost all your memories, that is why you consider that you are innocent. But the fact is, you are not.
Okay.
Ask yourself
I want to ask a law
right
question.
now, for an example,
Uh-huh.
right now,
Uh-huh.
you agree to this, right? That in your life, you must have committed a lot of mistakes. You agree to in this life. In
This
this life
life,
also, you had commit. Yeah, in this life, you must have committed a
not
lot of
so many,
mistakes,
but
right?
I kind of consider myself innocent, a good person.
At least one mistake, Baba.
A
That
few
means you are
mistakes
God.
that
Okay.
are not
Yeah, of course.
so
Yeah,
significant.
exactly.
Mhm.
Okay, fine. One mistake. Let's talk about one mistake.
Mhm.
Now, if I take away all your memories
Mhm.
from the time you were born till now,
Mhm. Till now.
would you be able to remember that you had committed a mistake? That is why I'm suffering right now. No,
No,
right?
no.
That's what is going on. Just because you lack memory, that is why you are not able to identify that why the hell am I suffering. That's the whole gameplay.
Okay. So there's let's say there's a psychopath who has
Mm.
killed a lot of people, and due to some incident, he has lost all his memory, all his memories. He knows nothing what he has done. After killing 100 people, he has a car accident, and after that, he doesn't remember anything what he has done. And he opens his eyes in a hospital, and like kind of like a newborn baby, and he knows nothing. Innocent mind, a fresh mind. I'm not sure about the law, but do you think he should be punished if he knows nothing? Because
Only the
according to the
only
law, if it's proven that a person has some sort of mental illness, instability, I think it should be not guilty. What do you think?
when you said that if he claims that He has lost all his memories. That means it is a clear indication he knows that he's going to get death penalty. That is why he's acting away. Yeah, that's the kind of answer I got in my mind. But the thing is that usually when
Hmm.
a person is a psychopath,
Hmm.
then there are different laws to punish such kind of people, right? There are punishments as well, and there are treatments as well, right?
Hmm.
For an example, if we speak about the Indian law, as much as I know, they will send they will send such kind of a criminal to a mental asylum instead
Hmm.
of a jail.
Hmm.
But after thorough inspection,
Hmm.
there is a possibility that he would just be acting. Who knows, right?
Hmm.
So, frankly speaking, this question was a bit strange and a bit funny as well.
Hmm.
But of course, he's not innocent. Of course, he's not innocent.
Hmm.
Listen, the thing is that if it's psychopath as well, he isn't born a psychopath, right? He was also born an innocent child. He was a victim of his circumstances. Later on, he became a culprit. But that does not mean that he is not the culprit. He is a culprit,
Hmm.
right? Now, if we talk about the mindset of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, he sympathizes with such kind of people as well. But he will utilize his sword to sympathize with such kind of people. It's like he would end his life to end
Hmm.
his sufferings.
Hmm.
That's how it is. Because the thing is that such kind of people who have committed 100 murders, that means he's addicted to that. He will commit it once again. Hence, the only option which the law has is to end his life by ending his. He's also suffering, right?
Hmm.
Whatever a human being has from inside, that's what he gives. If a person is having knowledge, he will give knowledge. If a person is having peace, he will give peace. Same way, if a person is having suffering, he will distribute suffering. In this situation, he is distributing sufferings, right? That means he is in the state of sufferings. That is why he is distributing sufferings. So if he is hanged till death, that is a compassionate decision. That is a compassionate decision. People, those lawmakers or law enforcers, are ending his sufferings by ending his life. So that does not mean that he's not a culprit. He's a culprit as well. Though he's a victim of his own circumstances, but he's a culprit as well.
You consider the possibility that maybe he's acting, but he still knows what he has done. Let's consider the possibility where he has no idea. Like, after the thorough inspection, we got to know that he doesn't remember anything at all, and he is just acting like a good, decent human being. Not acting, but he actually is like that.
In reality, got
In
the point. Got the
reality,
point.
what do you think should be done to him? Should he still
This
be
isn't the
punished?
same. Let's say this is actually not a punishment, right? I did
Hmm.
not tell that this is a punishment. I said that this is a display of compassion as well. By giving him the death sentence, this is also a process of compassion because he will commit it once again. This is compassion. But in this situation where you are saying that he has literally lost his memories, in this situation, what will be the action out of compassion? He would be sent into a mental asylum.
Hmm.
There is a possibility that the law would give him one more chance to live just because he has lost all his memories. There is
Hmm.
a possibility. If I was in the shoes of the judge, maybe I
Hmm.
would have set him free because he remembers nothing and
You would have set him free
that
if
criminal.
we
Yeah,
morally think
because
that.
yeah, because it's impossible for him to commit furthermore crime because he has forgotten everything.
So
He has been de-addicted to that
uh,
crime.
a moral thing for a judge to do is to set him free, right?
Not moral,
Uh,
compassionate.
but you said punishment is some sort of compassion.
Both are compassion, Baba. Both are
Okay, both are
compassion. In that
compassion.
situation, also, in that situation also, just like I gave an example of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, he's committing action out of compassion. This is also action out of compassion only. Both are acts out of compassion. Frankly speaking, according to me, in today's date, the judiciary system is a system which has a certain kind of feeling of revenge in it. It is not a justice system, it is some kind of a revenge system. There is compassion involved in it. If you observe in Indian jails, let's say in Indian jails, when they send you into a jail, a person becomes much more further hardcore criminal instead of improving his own life. That's how the jail system is. So where is the compassion over here?
What's more humane to do? Justice or revenge? Justice,
Just hold on a
obviously.
second.
Obviously justice, huh? Okay.
No. Battery is low. 1 minute.
What's more humane thing to do? A revenge or a justice?
I said that this process of justice is actually a process of revenge. I do not consider it to be justice at all, frankly speaking.
What would the
In the
justice
name of
be for
justice,
that psychopath who knows nothing? What would the justice be?
I said I would set him free. That is also compassion. And if he remembers, then I would have given him the death penalty. That is also compassion. I gave you both the answers. You need to act out of compassion because your
What's more
intention needs to be
compassionate
such.
here? What's more compassionate, giving him punishment or setting him free?
He has lost all his memories,
All
then
his
setting him
memories.
free.
Setting him
If
free.
his memories are intact, then giving him the death penalty.
Okay,
Both
so
act of compassion.
you would set him free. That's a more compassionate act.
Yeah.
When we read Gurbani, we get to know that God is full of love. He utters the language of love, full of love, very compassionate. There's no one as compassionate as God. So when we innocent beings, we know nothing about the past and still we get punishment. Does that mean God is not compassionate enough?
Listen, Gurbani always talks about both the aspects. Guru Gobind Singh Ji says, Namo Nitya Narayane Krur Karme. He is cruel as well. Let's say, if he is only lovable, only compassionate, then who is cruel? Because there is somebody who is cruel as well. That means there is not one God, there are two. He is both. He is Dayalu, he is compassionate. At the same time, he is cruel as well. Because this is a certain kind of balance. We, as I said, we live in the realm of duality. So he's both. He's both. He's not just one, he's both. He's Nari as well, he's Purush as well. He's compassionate as well, he's cruel as well. He's both.
So I killed, let's say I killed someone in my previous life. What are the factors that God would keep in mind while deciding whether he should be compassionate towards me or he should be cruel? What are the factors that decide that?
The first thing is that God is not a separate entity who has created the creation as sitting somewhere in the 7th or the 17th or the 14th sky. He resides within the world in the form of world. The law of nature itself is his law.
That's
and
what
right
I'm
now
talking
what
about.
we are talking about, exactly, right now we are talking about the law of karma. Whatever goes around comes around, and it is in alignment with this verse where Guru Sahib says, Jiste upaje nanaka soi fir hoye. It just does not mean that the mind is a creation of Jyot Sarup. It will again unite with Jyotsu. For an example, water is a creation of air. It goes back into it. That's what evaporation system is all about.
Hmm.
What happens after that? Again, the air recreates water. That's what rainy season is all about.
Hmm.
It's what goes around comes around. This body is a creation of soil. After that, it submerges back into the soil, right?
Hmm.
Whatever comes around goes around.
Hmm.
This is the law of nature, and there is absolutely no difference in between law of nature and law of Paramatma, because Paramatma resides within the nature in the form of nature. That's what Guru Sahib also talks about. He says, कुदरत करके वसया सोए वक्त बिचारे सो बंदा होए वक्त
Hmm.
बिचारे सो बंदा होए. Like he is within Qudrat, in the form of Qudrat. Karma, whatever goes around comes around. That is why he said, do not hold somebody else responsible. It is solely only you who is responsible for your own sufferings.
Hmm. My question is still unanswered. So
About that
we talked about
criminal
how
punishment.
no. The question about what are the factors. So you talked about how law of nature is law of divine. So let's say they're one. Okay, not let's say it is one. So how would nature decide what should happen to me? What are the factors? Would nature be compassionate or cruel? Hmm?
That cruelty is also a part of compassion only, Baba. For an example, let's say if I am suffering due to my own karmas,
Hmm.
what happens when I suffer? When I am suffering, that is cruelty. But if we observe sufficiently, when karmas comes back, that's when karmas gets cleansed, right? That means until and unless I suffer, karmas wouldn't be cleansed. If karma is getting cleansed, that is an act of compassion only, na? Hence, over here in this situation as well, somewhere cruelty and compassion is almost one and the same thing. It is through cruelty, compassion is happening. If karmas wouldn't be cleansed, if karmas wouldn't come back and make us suffer, it is for our for it is for our greater good only.
So giving a death sentence to that psycho and setting him free, they're same?
It's an
Because
act of
the
compassion. Both
both are act of compassion,
both
right?
are act of compassion. Yes, both are act of compassion. But this is
Okay, this
somewhere a
does.
metaphor, right? Somewhere a metaphor, right? What you spoke about, I don't
Hmm.
think is any such kind of a case in the world.
No,
Did it ever
there are a
happen?
lot of cases like that. People forget everything, whatever
Okay.
they've done. Sometimes people, like sometimes because of the accident, uh, memories are erased, and sometimes people actually transform themselves to a better human being. But there
Okay.
are cases, I've heard a lot of cases like that. This question
Yes.
was that, let's say there are two people, both of them have committed crime in their previous life, and they are reborn. One of them, by the act of compassion, God has set one of them free. He's living his life. And another person, by the act of compassion, he is punished by God. Suffering happens to him. Don't you think this is injustice right here?
So karmas are gonna return to them equivalently. It's not like there is some kind of an escapism over here. It does not work in such a way. It's just a matter of time. It's just that somebody is going to suffer sooner and somebody is going to suffer later. Somebody is going to eat the fruit of their karmas prior to somebody else, but both of them will have that fruit of karma. There is no escapism over here at all. So somewhere this question does not align with the law of karma at all. Whatever one has done, it will come back. Surely it will come back.
Okay.
You created a hypothetical question over there where that if he forgets his memories, should I forgive him? Would I forgive him? Yes, I would. But the fact is now if we talk about fact, which is the law of karma, it does not work in such a way. In some or the other way, it will bite him back. It will surely bite him back. There is no escapism at all. Whatever one has done, he will suffer. Sooner or later, he will suffer, definitely. Either in this carnation or either in next reincarnation. That is the law of karma. That is the law. That's what law means.
There's still, I have a few doubts in my mind, but we can cover them in our next episodes. But for this one, like, it was pleasure talking to you. I got to learn about a lot of things. Thank you so much for being here. So, all right then. See you next time.
Thank you.
Till then,
Vaheguru Ji ka
Waheguru Ji ka
Khalsa,
Khalsa,
Vaheguru
Waheguru
Ji
Ji ki
ki
Fateh.
Fateh.